A good evening to you. We are getting updates right now from the National Transportation Safety Board, who has crews on the ground as I speak. Over my shoulder here, you can see the cranes and heavy machines right here at the site. I want to walk right over here and show you. We're actually in a residential neighborhood right now across from the crash site. This is where officers are keeping us, but neighbors say that crash prevented them from getting any sleep last night. The images alone are enough to rattle the nerves of just about anyone, but imagine living right next door.
We heard this deafening sound. I never heard nothing this loud in my whole entire life.
This neighbor describes the flash of light he saw just after 9 p.m. that startled his entire block. Investigators very adamant about making sure no one gets too close to that wreckage. In fact, at one point today, we were even stopped by investigators who asked us not to cross the street. Wednesday afternoon, investigators hit the ground searching for clues. Take a look at this data recorder from the train. It's similar to a black box from an airplane, expected to yield answers that have left so many in Philadelphia with questions.
I live right down the street.
These teenagers say the crash and the deaths that followed so close to home led to an emotional day in class.
Telling us how people died from it, how people lost their family members.
I just want to think that it was, just an accident.
But at this hour, no one knows exactly what's to blame for the cause of this devastating Amtrak derailment. Today, the mayor here says he spoke with President Obama by phone and thanked him for his support as federal investigators work to get to the bottom of this tragedy on the tracks. I'll have another live update for you right here, straight from the scene in 1 hour. On your side in Philadelphia, Brent Solomon, NBC 12.
Brent Solomon live in Philadelphia with the latest from the scene. Brent?
It seems like we are getting preliminary answers since I last checked in with you. The NTSB just confirming what many here have been questioning all along. Was speed indeed a factor in this devastating crash? And now we're learning that train was traveling 106 miles per hour in a zone that's only authorized for 50 miles per hour. Just before this terrible derailment. Let's take you straight to some video right now. I just left a local establishment called Pete's Clown House Restaurant. The shocking story has been the talk of the day there. It is located on Frankfurt Avenue, just across the road from the site of the Amtrak derailment. Now, due to police blocking off nearby roads, business had been down a bit at the restaurant when it comes to their regulars, but workers are trying to keep things normal inside as a federal investigation resumes outside.
A couple of the regulars did park away and walk the blocks to come in to eat here. A lot of them can't believe that it happened right here. So I wasn't sure we were going to have work today.
I seen thunder and sparks.
And what did you think?
I thought somebody blew something up or something.
My heart goes out to all the families that were involved in the accident.
Now today, people who live in this area told me they heard a loud, deafening sound at the time of the crash, followed by a flash of light. Taking you back live now, again, the NTSB just confirming that train traveling 106 miles per hour. Eventually, a crew member was able to get it down to 102 miles per hour by applying the brakes, but it led to this terrible story that we're reporting today. So what's next? The data recorder that we told you about, as well as some video, now heading to D.C. for further review. The NTSB expecting to provide another update for you tomorrow, but we won't wait until then. I'll be here, right here in Philadelphia, with another report when you join us for NBC 12 News at 11. We're on your side in Philly. I'm Brent Solomon. Back to you. A little boy's emotional plea to find his father missing after the Amtrak derailment, plus new details into what may have gone wrong. I'm in Philadelphia with the latest.
Brent Solomon has spent all day and evening at the scene of the crash in Philadelphia. He shares the latest.
Tonight, law enforcement continues to serve as a barrier between the public right here and the wreckage behind me. New at 11, the mayor here says he's frustrated to learn that the train carrying hundreds of passengers was going too fast just before it derailed. Now we're hearing from federal investigators who are working every angle of this case. As a helicopter scours the air, people are hitting the ground looking for their loved ones.
My name is Mark Gildersleeve.
Take a look at this emotional plea. This video going viral on social media. A 13-year-old boy looking for his father who was on board Amtrak 188.
And if you know any information,
We played that video to Mark Cornwell.
please help me find my dad.
It's really sad. It's a tragedy. These people didn't know what seat they were going to go in or what car they were going to be in. And
Turns out he actually purchased a ticket to take that same Amtrak train from Philadelphia to New York tomorrow. Now that won't happen. And I want to show you what Amtrak is doing right now in light of this situation. They've reserved a section of this hotel to serve as a staging area for people who had friends or relatives on that train. We tried to go inside. An Amtrak representative told us they're limiting that space to those directly affected.
Maximum authorized speed through this curve was 50 miles per hour. When the engineer-induced brake application was applied, the train was traveling at approximately 106 miles per hour. 3 seconds later, when the data to the recorders terminated, the train speed was 102 miles per hour. Our mission is to find out not only what happened, but why it happened, so that we can prevent it from happening again. That's really what we're here for.
Federal investigators committed to finding answers as so many like this teenager hold on to hope.
Please help me find my dad.
And you can see the heavy media presence that remains on the scene right now. Among those killed, a midshipman from the U.S. Naval Academy, a senior vice president with Wells Fargo, and a media representative tonight. Many more remain unaccounted for. On your side in Philadelphia, Brent Solomon, NBC 12.
Turning now to the Amtrak derailment in Philadelphia. A heartbreaking update on this little boy who was captured on video looking for his dad who was on that train. It's now been confirmed that Bob Gildersleeve Jr. died in Tuesday's crash. Brent Solomon has been on the ground in Philadelphia since Wednesday. New at 5, he joins us now with the latest from the scene.
I just finished speaking with crane operators on the ground right now from Richmond. They're working to clean the wreckage. They respectfully declined to speak on camera since they're working for Amtrak. But federal investigators continue to provide new details as a federal probe moves forward. Take a look at this video capturing transportation safety workers sifting through the debris, a glimpse of the catastrophic event that's left crews with their work cut out for them.
And nothing has ever happened like this before in my lifetime.
Claire Gaynor just wanted to see it for herself. She once took that Amtrak route every day, the same one where a train was traveling more than double the speed limit before derailing at a curve.
I know the track.
You know that curve?
I know it. The curve will take you right up to Trenton. It's basically straight from there.
Federal investigators have said the one thing that may have prevented the fatal crash, new technology that could have slowed the train down.
That type of system is designed to enforce the civil speed to keep the train below its maximum speed. And so we have called for positive train control for many, many years. It's on our most wanted list. Congress has mandated that it be installed by the end of this year. We are very keen on positive train control. Based on what we know right now, we feel that had such a system been installed in this section of track, this accident would not have occurred.
But it wasn't yet installed, leading to the tragedy that's left more than half a dozen families in mourning. Even strangers like Gaynor left in tears because she's been here before.
I just need to see it. It's almost like a compelling tragedy that people went up to New York City to see 9/11 right after. And because I'm here, I just need to take a look and cry and pray and then go home.
Coming up new at 6, I'm speaking with a woman who lives in this neighborhood. She watched both the aftermath of this crash and the resilience of a community working to clean and get past this tragedy on the tracks. On your side in Philadelphia, Brent Solomon, NBC 12.
Getting back to normal will take more than time. Brent Solomon has developments now. He's the only Richmond reporter on the ground in Philly.
Yeah, we are right at the intersection where much of that activity is taking place today. The cleanup right here over my shoulder. Crews working to actually haul off the train's cars. And we were here as new material rolled in to replace the tracks at the site of the crash.
Awful.
Adelina Astacio watches outside her front door, still in disbelief.
I never expect nothing like that.
As the train's cars are cleared from the crash site, the picture now is a far cry from the devastating scene Tuesday night.
I was seeing all the doctors and nurses coming, going over there, going there.
Today we confirmed crews from Richmond are part of the team working to clear the wreckage as federal investigators gather more clues. Authorities say the train's engineer has turned over his cell phone and even consented to a blood test. This as the NTSB admits it wishes it had new technology that may have prevented the crash.
That type of system is designed to enforce the civil speed to keep the train below its maximum speed.
The train control system is expected to be installed by the end of the year, but it didn't come soon enough for more than half a dozen families mourning the loss of passengers on Amtrak 188.
I'm praying for them.
Claire Gaynor lives nearby and returned to the site of the crash since she once traveled that same train route daily.
I just need to see it. It's almost like a compelling tragedy that people went up to New York City to see 9/11 right after. And because I'm here, I just need to take a look and cry and pray and then go home.
Sentiments of many in the wake of one of the deadliest train crashes in years.
I'm sorry for them and for the families.
Amtrak continues to operate on a modified schedule. For example, right now, there is no service between New York and Philly, all a result of the devastating crash that closed the busiest corridor between New York and the nation's capital. On your side in Philadelphia, Brent Solomon, NBC 12.